Hello everyone, welcome to my online classroom. Today we are going to discuss class 9th Economics chapter 1, the story of village Palampur notes. By this video, I want to tell you how to write the notes in an effective way. So let's start. See, first page is the here, and by this we can understand how we have to write our flowchart. First, it is mentioned introduction. Then we have the Palampur village description. Then we have organization of production, and organization of production divided into 4 types: land, labor, physical capital. And physical capital is also divided into 2 parts: fixed capital and working capital. Last we have human capital. Next main heading of the chapter we have farming in Palampur, and here I have mentioned farming activities. So under this we are going to discuss the main important points, that is land is fixed. Is there a way how one can grow more from same land? Will the land sustain? How is land distributed between farmers of Palampur? Who will provide the labor? The capital needed in farming? Sale of surplus farm products? And now the last heading of this chapter we have non-farming activities. Under the non-farming activities we have 4 types: dairy, the other common activities, small scale manufacturing, the shopkeeper, and last one the transport. So now let's see the notes, what the important lines we have to write under this introduction. Today the motive of to make this video to tell you how to write your notes in an effective way, and by showing this video the notes, it is just for example purpose to get an idea to write an effective notes. So let's see. We have first of all introduction heading. We are going to take from this heading from the flowchart the first heading, introduction. Under the introduction we can write, we will study about the basic concepts relating to production. We will study about the main farming and non-farming activities of village Palampur. After that we are going to give the Palampur village description, that what kind of village it is, that how this Palampur village was well connected with the neighboring towns or villages, and many kinds of transport are also visible on the road, just like tangas, trucks, etc. After that, the roads are well connected with the neighboring village, and all weather roads are be there. That all weather road means the roads are we are going to use those roads in all the seasons, so it is be helpful to you. After that we have that how many families live here in the village Palampur. 450 families belonging to several different castes, and by this we can understand that here we have casteism. After that, 80 upper caste families have the majority of the land in village. Most of the houses have electric connections. By this we can understand what kind of facilities the village Palampur had. After that, Palampur has 2 primary school and 1 high school. There is a primary health center run by government and 1 private dispensary where sick are treated. So in this point, which is telling to us that of course for the education purpose also there were 2 primary schools and 1 high school, as well as for the health purpose. If you are going to see, so there also primary health center was with here, which is running by the government, as well as the 1 private dispensary was with here. After that we have next third heading, the main heading of the chapter, which is organization of production, and it is very important heading because many of the questions are coming from this heading. So we have total 4 types of heading which already we have discussed in our flowchart. Now we are going to see what was the first requirement. If you are going to do any production, you are going to increase your production, you are going to do any business. So of course for that production you have to use, you have some requirements. So what the requirements are there? So we have some units, some organization of production. Under these we have total 4 requirements. So here let's see what kind of requirements we have. First is the first requirement is land and other natural resources such as water, forest, minerals. So first requirement, of course land is the main important unit of production. The first requirement we have land. Suppose we are going to do business, we are going to do anything. So suppose agriculture, business, for anything, first of all what we want 1 piece of land. So that is, of course, land is a natural resource, such and other natural resources like water, forest, minerals. All these natural resources are there, which is the God gifted to us from God. So of course we can use these natural resources for our production. So remember, the first requirement is the land. After that, the second requirement which we want for the production, that is labor. We very well know the labor. If any person, they will not give their labor to nothing, we are going to get from anything. Suppose take the example of agriculture also, till the farmer is not going to do anything on the land. The land is not going to give any production by its own. So first is land, and now we have second labor. You can see, students, we are going to highlight some important words. So in exam also we are going to highlight this word with the black pen, so that it is be very easy to understand it and to highlight your important words of the answers. So now students, labor, people will do the work. Some production activities require highly educated workers to perform tasks. So by this we can understand, for some tasks, of course, some skilled persons we want, and so for other tasks we don't want more skill, but we want some physical capability, so that is required. So it totally depend on the work, that what kind of work, what kind of labor we want. Now third one, we have the third requirement is the physical capital, and that is variety of inputs required at every stage during production. So third requirement we have, that is the physical capital, and whenever we are going to do any inputs, whenever we are going to produce anything, for each and every stage during the whole production, it requires different inputs. So it is divided into two parts. We have two parts of this physical capital here. First is the fixed capital and second is the working capital. Remember, it is very important topic. Many of the times in question paper it's coming, he explain the physical capital and in how many parts it is divided, and what is the fixed capital, what is the working capital, and even they ask for to differentiate between fixed capital and working capital. So it is now we are going to understand what is fixed capital and working capital. Remember one more thing, students, that whenever we are going to do differentiate between of two things, so of course here whatever we are explaining in the first one, that is for the second one, that is the just opposite we have to write. So we have to learn only first one, and second one to automatically it's going to be learned. So now we have under the fixed capital, let's understand what it means. Tools, machine, building can be used in production over many years, in which money is spent only one time, is called fixed capital. So under this three lines, if we are going to see that these three lines of our main thing where we have to give our full focus or attention, that is one time. Here we have to spend money only one time, because what is what? Fixed capital. Fixed means only at one time. So here what are the investment? Investment you are going to do on the things where you have to spend your money only at one time. So that is known as the fixed capital. So example are here like tools, machines, buildings. So of course for construction, for buying any piece of land, only one time you have to pay. For construction of any building, you have to spend your money only one time. For buying machine, only for one time. For tools, only for one time. So in this way, again I am repeating one time, one time, one time. So it means that whenever we are going to spend money on any investment, on any things, only at one time, that is known as your fixed capital. Now come to the second, working capital. So here working capital, it means again and again, just there only one time. So see, before we are not going to read the lines, but we can understand what we are going to understand and what we have to learn under the working capital, what we have to understand. So in working capital, we have to spend money again and again. Now I'm going to read the line. Some money is always required during production, that is the money which is spent again and again is called working capital. So here highlighting line is spent again and again. We have to spend money again and again. That is known as the working capital. For example, we have salary of labor, buying raw materials. So here, so what the examples means, suppose for the unit of production is there for doing production. We have the physical capital, and under the physical capital we have fixed and working capital. For fixed capital, only one time we have to spend, just like before buying the piece of land, for the construction of building, and for buying the machine, only one time we have to spend. But in working capital, again and again we have to spend the money. It shows just like suppose you have some labors. So for two labors you have to give some salary also. So suppose before of the 10 years you are giving salary some and whatever amount you are giving. Now after 10 years also you will give the same amount to the laborers. It is not possible, because in market the prices are going to be increased day by day. The prices are not the fixed. So according to the market you have to pay to the laborers also. Same for buying the raw materials also. In the market, we are not getting all the things at the same price. Suppose I have a factory of biscuit, so manufacturing of biscuit, for making of the biscuit, of course I want weight, I want milk, I want sugar. So every time, year to year, month to month, I have to purchase this raw materials from the market, and I know very well that the prices are not fixed, so I have to pay again and again different kind of money, different kind of amount. So that amount which I'm spending, that is known as the working capital. Now I hope it is clear to all of you. If it is not be clear, if any doubts are be there, so please comment me. Then next we have the fourth requirement, which is that is the human capital. So of course human capital is very important, because as I told you right now, that whatever things, whatever natural resources we have, it is okay, but still the humans are not going to work, they are not going to utilize their skills, so we are not able to get any production. So human is also known, or human is also count as a capital. If any country, if they have their human, the human skill they have, so of course they are going to be do progress. Now next, see, we have the main heading, farming in Palampur. Regarding this farming in Palampur, some main headings are be there, are be given here, and under the main heading we are going to understand what the important points we have to write under this main heading. So first we have land is fixed. First of all, we have to know what kind of land we have, and it is we have sufficient land or not, and how, from which kind of land we are getting what kind of production. If you have large piece of land, so maybe you will get more production. If you have less small piece of land, so of course there are chances that you will get less production. So here also about the it is related to the village Palampur, that what kind of land was there, and of course measurement is the that farming was the main activity in Palampur. 75% people who are working are depend on farming for their livelihood. Even the standard unit for measuring land is hectare, and also this hectare, the standard unit of measure, which is known as hectare, that is also known by the name Biga, Quinta. Some places, because of the local words we are going to use throughout the country or throughout the world, so different words are here, but meaning is the same. That is Biga, Gunta, etc. Remember here, one mark question is coming, that what is the standard unit of we use for measuring land, that is the hectare. So it is just for, just like you have your house, you have any property, so we at least we have to know what kind of measurement is with here. So that is the unit of land that which we use in the village Palampur, that is the hectare, and other words we can also use for hectare in place of hectare, that is Biga, Kunta, etc. So one mark question is coming from this. After that we have the second heading, which is there a way one can grow more on same land? Of course one can grow or one can get more production from the same land by use the multiple cropping system, by using the high variety seeds. In this way, from the same piece of land we are able to get a lot of more production. After that, third we have the will the land sustain. Will the land sustain means the sustainability. That we very well know land is a natural resource, and the fertility of the soil is going to be reduced day by day. For this purpose, we have to be focused on the fertility of the soil, because if the fertility of the soil we don't have, so of course it is not be possible to get any production from that piece of land. So first of all, what we have to do, we have to be remember that fertility of this soil we have to again and again we have to regain. For this purpose, we have the some natural fertilizers, manure we have, and the chemical fertilizers we can use, but we have to remember this thing also, that every time, because it took a long time to recover the soil, to recover its fertility. So that's why every time we have to focus on this thing, that it's not going to be lose its fertility. Now, after that, we have how is land distributed between farmers of Palampur. If we are going to see how the land distributed between farmers of Palampur, of course, there's a discrimination. This ratio was not very good, because 450 families were there, and about 1/3 of the 450 families are landless. They don't have any land. That is 150. It means 1/3. It means 150 families. Most of them Dalits. They belong to the Dalit caste, and they don't have any piece of land for cultivation. Next, we have of the remaining families who own land, 240 families cultivate small plots of land less than 2 hectares in size. If those who have, so 240 families, they have small plots of land, so measurement was very less. So it shows that production was very less. After that, we have who will provide labor. Now, how we are going to get the labor, because we very well know labor is very important, and it is also the second most important requirement for the organization of production. So labor is next necessary factor for production. Farming requires a great deal of hard work. Of course, in farming, we want a lot of hard work. Some farmers, along with their families, cultivate their own field. So, how they're providing the labor? Those farmers, those small farmers are there, and the small farmers, those have small piece of land, so they don't want any other labor to hire any other labor. What they were doing, they were just from their own family members, they cultivate their own land. Next point we have, thus say and write your notes. Try it to write your notes as well as try to write your answers in exam in points, so you can easily get the good marks. After that, see fourth point. Thus, they provide labor required for farming themselves. Medium and large farmers hire farm laborers to work on their fields. So remember, in the village Palampur, the categories of the farmers were three types. First of all, the small laborers, small farmers. Second, medium farmers, and third, large farmers. So small farmers, so they are arranged by their own family members, the labor. And for the medium and large farmers, what they were doing, the medium and the large farmers, they hire the other laborers to work on their fields. And by this, they are giving the salary also. Paid wages are be there, those who were working in their fields, and the wages were also provided by the through two ways. Like first is the cash, they are giving the salary. The medium and the large farmers, they are giving the salary to the laborers, the higher laborers, by cash or by kind. In kind, the word is given in kind. In kind means crop. Suppose they are not giving any cash to them, but they are giving crop. Whatever production was there, suppose wheat crop was there, so they are giving wheat. Now, some portion of wheat, not whole, some portion of the wheat they are giving. After that, next heading, sixth heading, we have the capital needed in farming. So capital is also very important, that what kind of capital, of course, in farming, how the farmers they manage for the capital. Because for buying the seeds, for any tools they want, any machines they want, anything for irrigation, they require some capital. So how they manage this capital, that is also we are going to understand by the categories of the small farmers, medium farmers, the large farmers. Why we are going to categorize? Because we very well know the condition of each and every person. It is be vary from different to vary from person to person. It is very means it is different from one person to person. I can't we cannot do comparison, and it's like that ki, of course the condition of each and every person is different. The difficulties for each and every person is be different. The solutions are also be different. So here also for the capital, how they arrange the money, how they were managing the money. So like for the small farmers, what they were doing. So the small farmers, they borrowing the money from the large farmers or the money lenders on interest, and after that for some particular time, whatever for time they were getting, they were taking this loan. After that, they have to pay this loans also. They have to repay their loan. After that, we have the small farmers. How the small farmers, so we have done. Now, in contrast to small farmers, the medium and large farmers have their own savings from farming. They are thus able to arrange for capital needed. For the medium and the large farmer, actually they had large piece of land and their production was very good. So by good production, the extra, the surplus production they were selling in the market. So by selling the crops, they were getting good amount. So that amount they are keeping in the banks in a form of saving, and that saving they are used in the next year when they started the production. After that, we have the sale of surplus farm product, just we have discussing. So here we have sale of surplus farm products, whatever extra. Like again, I'm going to repeat what the lines are mentioned here. Small farmers like Savita have little surplus wheat because their total production is small, and from this substantial share is kept for their own family needs. So medium and large farmers supply in markets. So here actually in the book Savita story is be given, and Savita she belongs to from the small farmers. She's coming under the small farmers category. So if we are going to talk about the Savita, so Savita don't have more large piece of land, and because of that no more production. Only production is like that. She's only have whatever she has grown in her land, she's keeping all that for her own family needs. So she's not able to sell the extra because there's no any surplus extra production. That's why she's not able to sell those things, the crops in the market. But for the medium and the large farmers, if we are going to see, so of course they have the large production and they are able to supply in the market. By that they are earning money and they're saving in the banks. So in this way they arrange the money. After that we have the next non-farm activities. Before of that we have completed all the farming activities. Remember, of course, one more question is coming. Differentiate between farming activities and non-farming activities. So farming activity is very easy. By the word we can understand farming is related to agriculture. Again I'm repeating, related to agriculture. The person whose earning is coming by doing any work which is related to agriculture, it is known as, so it shows that person is doing what kind of activities? That person is doing farming activities. And now we have the next non-farming activity. It shows the person whose business, the income is coming by not related to any farming activities. They are doing other kind of activities. Now see, let's see, take a look of what kind of activities in Palampur village, non-farm activities they were doing. So it is categorized in the 4 types. First we have dairy, second we have small scale manufacturing, third we have the shopkeeper in Palampur, and fourth we have transport, fast developing sector. So let's see what is the first one, that is dairy, and in front of that one line is mentioned the other common activity. If they are going to compare with the agriculture, agriculture was the main activity of farming activity in the village Palampur. Now the second, the common activity, the people, those who live there, they were doing, that is the dairy. So let's see, dairy is common activity in many families of Palampur. People food their buffaloes on various kind of grass and jowar and bajra that grow during rainy season. So under the dairy, what the farmers were doing, or farmers or the people, those who were doing this business, so this activity, this common activity in the village Palampur, they domesticated animals like buffaloes, and after that they were feeding them and they are getting milk and other dairy products, and they were selling to the other markets. So in this way their earning source is that they are getting their earning source. After that we have second, small scale manufacturing. This is the second non-farm activities the people in the village Palampur they were doing. So what do you mean by small scale manufacturing? Small scale manufacturing. Small scale means on a very small way. We don't want here, we are going to do production, we are going to produce the things, but not on a large scale, on a small quantity. As well as we don't want more labor here, we don't more lot of space, we don't more high technology, we don't more high skilled people. Here even we don't want more capital. So here that it is known as small scale manufacturing. Now understand what the points are being mentioned here. The manufacturing that takes place in big factories in towns and cities. Manufacturing in Palampur involves very simple production methods and are done on small scale. So first line is telling to us the meaning of small scale manufacturing. If we are going to compare, as I said right now, that here we don't want all these things in a large quantity. So in comparison of the big factories, if we are going to compare the manufacturing process which takes place in big factories in towns and cities, so here in Palampur village, because a lot of facilities will not be there, so if we are there, the people, they are producing their things in a simple way by using the simple methods on a small scale. They are carried out mostly at home or in fields with help of family laborers. So what kind of small scale manufacturing the people they were doing in the village Palampur? Suppose they are making jaggery from the sugarcane, and like making pickles at home. So in starting, they are running any computer classes. So in this way it is known as the small scale manufacturing. By this they their income source is with their earning. After that we have the third type, third non-farm activities, which is mentioned here. This is the shopkeepers in Palampur. Of course the shopkeepers, it is also a non-farming activities. It is coming under the non-farming activities. Here people involved in trade are not many in Palampur. If they are going to compare in comparison of the farming activity, so of course many of the people are here, those who are not involved in the trade. Very less number of people we have in the village Palampur, those who are working they involved in the trade. They are doing buying and selling of the things, and they are the shopkeepers. This business they are doing, and the trader of Palanpur are shopkeepers who various goods from wholesale market in cities and sell in villages. So what the people here, sorry, those who are doing business, the shopkeepers work here. So the shopkeepers of the village Palanpur, what they are doing, the traders, they are going to buy the products, the things from the wholesale market from where, because in a large quantity they are buying the products. So of course, wholesale market, from that they are getting discount, and after buying from those wholesale market from the cities, they sell these products in their own villages. So in this way, they earn. After that, the last heading which we have, that is the transport, and here it is mentioned fast developing sector. Today, transportation, it is known as the fast developing sector. Many of the people, they engage with this business, with this transportation, and like take the example of the Olas, that whenever we need, we can easily book, and where we want to go, we can easily go. So transportation, it is coming under a kind of services, and it is also a non-farm activities. So here we have the lines, like there are variety of vehicles on road connecting Palanpur to Raiganj. Here, of course, for transportation, roads are very important. If we don't have good roads, so of course transportation is not be possible. And what kind of road we want? We want metal roads, which is be useful in all weather. It should be worked in all weather. For that time it is beneficial for everyone. So here just we all very well know that village Palanpur was well connected through the road with the village Raiganj. So here on the roads we can get different kind of vehicles, like rickshaw walas are there, tanga walas were there, jeep, tractor, truck, people driving bullock cart, bogie are people in transport service. So in this way the people, they engage in the non-farm activities, non-farm activity of transportation. Even the ferry people from one place to another in Britain, they get paid. So in this way, suppose if anyone wants to sell their product in the other market, so for that also transportation is required. So in this way, day by day, this transportation becomes the fast developing sector. So students, now everyone, in this way we have completed the whole chapter, I think, through the flow chart, and I hope you have understood all the main important content of this chapter, which is really helpful for everyone. And now, thank you everyone, and wait for my next video.